What's up, brother? Welcome. Thanks for making time for me.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be on your show, Travis. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Absolutely, bro. Let's start at the beginning. Now, what attracted you to electronic music and then kind of what was your first dive into working in the business?
Well, I like to first of all thank the Hare Krishnas because I met two Hare Krishna girls in Santa Monica because I'm from Santa Monica, California. They had just gotten out of Hare Krishna boarding school, and I had just gotten out of boarding school, and I'd been there for 6 years. So when I moved back to California, I didn't know that many people, and I started to hang out with them, and I had some problems at my house, and I really didn't know what I was going to do because my family didn't know me because they didn't know me for 6 years that I was at high school. So these Hare Krishna girls, one day, they invited me to the Hare Krishna temple, and I met this really hot chick there. All three of us, we decided, well, they said, let's go to the 808 State concert. This was 1991 at the Long Beach Arena. And I went down to Venice Beach and got some acid, and we went to the concert. And when I showed up to this concert at the Long Beach Arena, there was at least 5,000 people there. It was a square room, flat. The band is on stage. 808 State still is one of my favorite bands. The song Pacific State, I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's like the theme to my life. I was there watching this concert. The girl that I liked, she met another guy. They were like face to face like this. And I knew that wasn't the reason I was there. There was a higher meaning of this trip to this concert. And I was watching everybody. People were dancing. Everybody was doing a different type of dance. In 1991, electronic music was an experiment. And, everyone was doing a different dance. There wasn't like day where everybody just does the same dance, and there was no norm. People were going around in circles with their arms interlocked, and I thought they were going to mosh, but no, they would hug. I called them the love mosh. And the people were sitting around, dancing, having fun. Everybody was in complete bliss. It seemed like everyone was in the same frequency. When I'm looking at all this, I'm getting the chills. I felt like I have seen this before, been there before, but not in another time. In that same time, it was like this was a loop. Like I had been here before. I had seen this before. And behind me was all the concessions. Like at the backside of the concert was all the concessions, all the food and drinks being sold. And in 1991, there was no digital cash registers. They all had bells. And I just kept hearing all these bells ring like ding, 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 ding. Bells were ringing everywhere. And as I'm watching this, all of a sudden, everything froze. Boom. Everybody froze, but the music. Everybody was like frozen in time. And I even saw like the lint in the air. And at that moment, I had the chills. I was just like, oh my God, this is the moment in my life where I'm about to deep brief myself on everything that's going to happen and the secrets of the universe. And this has happened to me a billion times before. I've been here 1991 at the 808 State concert a billion times. Like this is a loop. And as I am watching, and I've just realized, oh my God, this is like when I'm just connected to the main frame of the universe. My vision came out of my eye, it turned around and then started looking inside my eye like it was a TV screen. And I saw my whole life from the moment I'm born to the moment I die. And then it repeated. And it was like, I am deep briefing myself from a different part of the universe, from a different reality on what's going to happen, what I need to do, and the fact that this is that I said, I'm a promoter. I'm one of the best promoters in the world. This is not a business. This is a ritual. And this is me. I have to basically let everyone know that good vibes is the secret of the universe. We live forever. And when we join together in these types of meetings and these events, we are vibrating together. And through these vibrations, we are recharging ourselves and recharging the universe. And I said, and I was like, okay, and every time I'm in this other reality dimension or this point, I realize that I'm going to forget everything I'm about to see. I'm just like, okay, I'm about to forget, like you forget a dream. So I was like, okay, so I need to get on one knee and be like, I'm a promoter. I'm one of the best promoters. And that's the next thing that's going to happen for me. And I got on one knee and I was just like, I'm a promoter. Eureka. I found it. That's what I am. I've already done this. And I don't need to worry. Everything's just going to fall into place. And I came out of it and I went home that night just like, wow, I had a complete epiphany. I was just like, I already did this. That's what's going to happen for me. So I better follow the next step. There was no internet at that time. Someone gave me a flyer, Magic Wednesdays on the Redondo Beach Pier. I'm from Los Angeles. I went, so I went to Magic Wednesdays with my $5. I paid to get in, and somebody comes up to me, come to my party, Pumpkin Patch, October 28th, 1991. And without thinking, it was just like the Terminator that came from the future. Without thinking, my mouth just started to move, and I couldn't believe what I was saying. I was like, I'm the guy who puts the concessions in all of the raves. There was no guy who put the concessions in any of the raves, you know? Electronic music and rave parties was something new at that time. 808 State Concert was a concert that some promoters from Europe had brought to Los Angeles to bring this new craze of electronic music. I said that. I was like, I can bring food, drinks, everything. And in Los Angeles at that time, there was no alcohol at the raves. It was just water and soft drinks and anything other than alcohol, because that would be too hard to get a liquor license. And no one was interested in drinking alcohol. So I said I could do that for you, and I'll give you part of the profits. These promoters, they didn't have the infrastructure to do a bar or to do the drinks or the food. They just wanted to go throw a party, dance, have a good time. It was an experiment. And the guy said yes. He said, come and check out the place. I have this break-in warehouse where it's like 2 warehouses with like a little alley private area. We went and checked it out. Actually went and I talked to my cousin, which I was sleeping on his couch at his house at that time. He asked his uncle for a little loan. I'm his dad, which was my uncle. And we went to Smart and Final, bought all the drinks, hot dogs, popcorn, nachos, everything. I didn't know. And we went to the party and I knew where I can borrow a hot dog, popcorn, nachos machine and everything that was in a storage room. And we went and set up, put my cousin, who didn't even speak English at that time, to sell the drinks. We got there. They're like, hey, this person, we met the security, and it was the first night that this karate studio was going to be security for a rave party. And that was their first time, but not the last. I met the shredder, the sound guy. We met the DJs. The promoters were there. Then I started with my cousin to sell the drinks and stuff. And to tell you the truth, it was kind of weird. People at that time did not want, like, everybody wanted to be like they've always gone to raves. So like everybody was just like, if there could be something weird going on, but everybody be like, oh, that's normal. Like I went, as soon as the party started, I went to the main dance floor, and there was this girl. She was like this, and she was sucking one guy's dick and getting fucked from behind on a corner of the dance floor. And I had never seen that in a party before, till this day I haven't, and people were just like acting like it was normal. They were like, oh, that's normal. Yeah. Like, like just standing around watching. Nobody was like, oh my God, nothing. But I met everyone, everyone came and bought their drinks, and you started to meet everyone from the scene from Los Angeles. And that's when the scene was really starting to take form. And after the party, we had sold like $750. We had invested $715, but we still had 85% of our product left over. And I was like, we're going to put this in the corner of your apartment with your dad and mom? Was like, no. The next day we went and looked for another party, and we started doing every party we possibly could. My plan, I already knew in the back of my head, I'm going to be a promoter, but I was like, we have to take these steps. The law of attraction, whatever you know is, and I believe it's true, but if you know that you got to take these steps to get what you want, then you do it. So we went to every event, every single event. And if sometimes we would pay them up front, so they would give us the exclusivity to sell the water, to sell the nitrous, to do whatever we had to at that party. Even for New Year's, we paid them like $2,500 to be amongst many people selling the drinks at the place. And I realized throughout time, only the security eats food. Okay, cut out the food. So soft drinks people don't want. So we basically cut it down to water and smart drinks. Before Red Bull existed, we used to mix our own smart drinks. This drink gives you energy. This drink opens your brain. This drink is good for your memory. And it was quite cool, because I was broke at that time when I started this. And then I was able to like have some money in my pocket, and I didn't have a place to live, but we were like raving from Wednesday to Monday. So, and when I did need a place to live, I used to break into the storage room of my mom's apartment building. I was not in good terms with her, but I used to sleep crawled up in like a storage room when I didn't have a place to stay. But the rave scene in Los Angeles in the 90s, it was a family. everybody knew each other. Everybody used to take care of each other, and everybody used to crash at each other's places. There was even a warehouse in downtown LA at one time where this girl, she gave like a space size um, spot to each person to set up their own room. And I didn't live there, but we used to go there and hang out. Slowly but surely, everybody started to be like blaming me for everything. Like, how did that nitrous tank get in? Oh, Cammy. Well, my name is Cameron. Cameron let them in. How did these people get in? All the security, and everybody used to blame me for everything because I was the center of the event. People didn't know who the promoters were, but people knew who I was because I was at every party running the bar. And the bar was pretty much the center of everything at those times. So I told my cousin, everybody's already blaming everything on us. This is the moment where we do our party. And, you know, I started selling the water in October, and February 29th, 1992, I did my first event. It was called Looney Tunes. And we had Rondi Core, DJ Dan, Sean Perry, and Moon Pup. They were the main DJs. We had a old school techno room, and we had a funk room. At that time, there was always a funk room. People always wanted a funk room at the parties. Some other guys, they contacted me like, do you mind if we set up like a chill out room? And like one of the closet, like a room the size of this room, they set up like another room for free for us. And it was a complete success. We handed out 25,000 flyers with Bugs Bunny with an ecstasy hit on his tongue, Yosemite Sam with a nitrous balloon. Daffy Duck was also no Yosemite Sam with a X hat, because back then there was no rave gear. The rave gear was you go to a hat shop and have them, can you put an X on this black hat for me? That was the first rave gear that existed in Los Angeles. And then slowly but surely, Fresh Jive came out by Rick Colts. Well, actually, Pasquale has bought Fresh Jive since then. He owns that brand now. He told me the other day, from Pasquale from EDC. But the first rave brand was Fresh Jive, and then came Clobber and a bunch of other brands. So yeah, the first party was called Looney Tunes. We made 25,000 flyers with the logo of Looney Tunes. It says, that's all, folks. It said Looney Tunes and welcome to the world of animation where reality does not exist. We handed out these 25,000 flyers all over Los Angeles. Warner Brothers, the owners of Looney Tunes, is in Los Angeles. I wonder if one of them got their hands on one of these full color flyers, but it was pretty cool artwork. We handed it out, and during that time, we were still doing our bar business, but we got it to the point where the bar of my own party, I didn't do it. I just negotiated with another guy. Okay, you guys do the bar, but you guys put our security. So it was all about opportunities at that time, and one big family. And that's how I got into electronic music, because I had a dream that I've always been in it, and that it's beyond a business, it's a ritual.
So it seemed like that. I mean, I know the era very well. It was before my time, but when I first dived in, I like dug deep into like the rabbit hole, learning more. And I could tell that was like an outlaw phase, like no permits, no licensing, all that stuff. Like when did you take it from that to becoming like, I guess, a more real business?
To tell you the truth, in the United States, I never did it legally. We never did it like legal business. But when I moved to Ecuador, well, I have thrown raves throughout this whole time, but eventually when I wanted to put my own club, I made it a business, because I've always been a rave promoter, and I was just like, I have every single time I have to set up the event from zero. And in my vision that I had at the 808 State concert, I saw that I had a place. I saw Montanita. I saw my kids. I saw my death. I saw various different types of ways I've died since then, because in my opinion, universo, one verse, universo, it's one verse, it's one life, but it repeats. So I eventually was like, I need to have a place where I don't need to set it up every single time. And tell you the truth, Lost Beach Club, first it started off as the Centro de Arte. I've been in this property since the year 2000 in Montanita, Ecuador. I have a club in Montanita, Ecuador, which is in the top clubs of the world. For me, it's the best. But we've been in the top 100 clubs of the world for the past 11 years. We're called the Lost Beach Club. We have one of the biggest Function One sound systems in the Americas. It is the biggest Function One sound system. I don't know about Europe. And we're always renewing it and buying more. And we have 5 different rooms. But at first, it was called the Centro de Arte, because when I showed up to this town in Montanita, first of all, they told me, don't go there. I was living in Ecuador. I had not yet started to work in electronic music in Ecuador. I was actually helping my dad with some stuff. And I met some guys from television, and they invited me to act with them on a TV show called Fantasías en la Playa with one of the most famous actors of Ecuador. He just became my best friend all of a sudden. People were talking, this was recorded at the beach, and the people were talking about this town called Montanita. They were like, but don't go there. If you go there, everyone's going to say you're a drug addict or a party animal. And I was just like, can you lend me your car? And my friend Marian Sabete, she's also from television here in Ecuador, she lent me her car and I went there and I noticed that some people that I had met through contacts that make electronic music in Ecuador were playing music in the small little hostel at the point. It was called Pelicano. It's still there. The owners of the Pelicano had lived in Goa, so they wanted to like bring electronic music to Montanita. So my friend Jose Wated was there playing music. He was not a DJ yet at this time. He was playing music on his computer. He used to make music, with Cubase and everything, and with the keyboard. And he couldn't do that all night. And I was just like, I'm a DJ. I can help out. And I didn't have any music with me, but all the CDs that I could gather up from everyone's car, I went and I DJ'd a really cool set, and it was a great vibe. And walking down on the beach in the morning to town, I was just like, this is the place for my dream. This is the place I have to make my dream come true. This is going to be the electronic music destination spot. And I went back and back and back and DJ'd more at that place. And eventually I decided to do my own parties in Montanita. And my friend had a property in the town where he used to rent surfboards and bicycles and extreme sports gear. And his friend had put like a desk there where he started to mix drinks, cocktails. And I was like, hey guys, I have been throwing raves all my life. I used to do this in Guatemala, in Panachel, like a hippie town there. Bonita is a hippie town, a hippie bohemian surf town. And I had been doing this in Panachel. I mean, I will do everything. I will make the artwork. I will promote. I will put the music, sound, even DJ. And you guys, I get the door, you guys get the bar. It wasn't even a bar. It was just an open space with a cocktail table. And they said, okay. The first party, the whole town came and they're like, we don't want parties in Montanita. You guys do your stuff in the point. And we were able to hold them off, convince them that, yeah, okay. But like it was such a cool event and it went so well that with that party, we put one wall. That first wall was with like tela, with fabric. And then until like after fourth party was just like totally enclosed. And then we started to make the walls out of blocks until we did so many parties. We had a 2-floor building. And by that time, it was not big enough. And the town was still bothering and the cops were bothering. And the owner of the place was like, he kind of pissed me off. And I went with my best friend at that time, had a huge property, which is Lost Beach Club now. Well, it's like half of Lost Beach because I've expanded. And he's like, hey, why don't we do a party here at my spot? And I was like, why don't we do a 3-day? Actually, it was a 4-day party for Carnival, 4 days nonstop. And we started to build bamboo structures, put plants and trees with plants, which are now the big trees that are in the property now. We didn't finish it on time. So the 4-day party was a 3-day party. And it was a complete success. And then we decided maybe we should do one every 3-4 weeks. And then eventually I rented the property from him and I made it the Centro de Arte de Montanita because I didn't want the town to be like, hey, he came and just put a club now. No, I wanted it to be a central, like an art center for everyone. And whoever wants to use it, let us know. You can use it. Then I started to do the parties there, not every weekend, but every other or every 3 holidays. It was, it's not easy work, but we did it. We weren't making money at that time. And to tell you the truth, like my partner, the guy who owned the property, I knew he wasn't very honest and stuff, but I already knew that eventually this place was going to be mine. And so we're just trying to build the party right now. We're not trying to like fight with the people, our own bartenders and employees who are trying to be shady. We're just trying to, I'm just trying to build the scene. And during that time, I had the opportunity to escape to Ibiza for a whole summer because this of Ecuador was my friend. And my dad wanted me to marry her and I didn't because of some financial problems going on in the country. Maybe he can save us. And I was really upset. So she told me, come to Spain with me. She was the to the state, nepotism. A lot of these, they put all their family members where they can so they can steal money. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not going. I'm broke. The hell am I going to do? So then my friend's like, I'm going to celebrate my birthday at the Underground. Liama, a DJ who used to make music for Tiesto. He's like, I'm going to celebrate my birthday at the Underground in Ibiza on the same dates that I had to be in Spain. And I'm just like, I've had it. I'm going to escape and go to Ibiza and not come back. And just to think, when I left the rave scene in Los Angeles and moved to Latin America in 1996, I had seen the rave scene grow from zero to something really big, and not as big as it is now, but to something really cool. And it was kind of hard for me to leave that and go to Latin America. But when I got the opportunity to start it over there, I had to start from zero. The DJ was not the most popular person in the party. The DJ was at the same level as the bartender or the janitor at that time in clubs in Latin America. No one really looked at him as someone famous. So we started from zero. I started the rave scene from zero in El Salvador, in Guatemala. And then from what I learned there, and when I eventually came to Ecuador, I learned from my mistakes and perfected it and thought it out a little bit more when I started it in Ecuador. So when I had the opportunity to go to Ibiza and live there, it was like me being able to refresh myself and actualize myself on all the electronic music out there. Because in Latin America, when the scene started, we were very much reliant on global underground. The global underground DJs was what everyone knew. And that was like the most commercial that you had at that time, 2000 and So in Latin America, I was not exposed to all the different artists and all the different things going on. So you got the part that invited me to go to Spain with her to have a meeting with this bank. Well, when I got to Spain with her, she herself, we arrived on a Thursday, and the meetings was on a Monday, and the paid me like $1,500 to be her bodyguard, and I wanted to save that money to escape to Ibiza with. So when she's like, you have to rent your own room because we don't want anyone from the gut thinking that we're hooking up with each other. So I was just like, damn, I don't want to spend all my money. So I was just like, why don't we fly to Barcelona so I could stay at my friend's house, because we were in Madrid and he's a DJ and we're going to go out with him clubbing. His name was Willie San Juan at that time. Well, Willie San Juan is his name, but he released on Bedrock Records, and we had brought him to Ecuador to play for us before. And Willie, I actually introduced him to his wife when I took him on tour to Guatemala. He loved me. I went to stay at his house, not to have to spend any money, so I can save money for Ibiza. It didn't cost much to travel from Madrid to Barcelona. And I took her with me, and we took her out clubbing that night, to make a long story short. I mean, she didn't have the proper clothes, and I took her all day to look for some clothes for her because she used to dress like an old lady. And she got stressed out, and my friend's wife eventually made her look okay. And we went to one of the gigs, beach club in Barcelona. It was a cool night. My plans are working out. So I was like, okay, let's go back to Madrid immediately. And in the airport, I told her, listen, my friend is celebrating his birthday in Ibiza and I want to be there. It's my dream. I've worked in electronic music all my life and I feel my calling that I need to go to Ibiza. This is 2003. She said, okay. And I did everything I needed to. I mean, I can make a movie about everything that happened in that time before she got on the airplane, because I did drop her off at the hotel. Then I went to another friend's house in Madrid and slept. And I went to Ibiza. I went to the Underground where my friend was celebrating his birthday. And Mr. C was there. And Mr. C, I had worked with Mr. C since 1991 when I used to sell water. I sold the nitrous balloons at a party that Tef Fu did. Tef was one of the first ever promoters of Los Angeles. And I had the bar and the nitrous bar there. And I gave Mr. C his first nitrous balloon, Mr. C from the Shaman, and became friends. So I saw Mr. C there, and I also at during the riots, I had met Matthew Bushwacka B, which also my friend who I work with. Actually, no, did not do that party. That party was done by another friend of mine, an English friend of mine, which was like my mentor of electronic music back in 1991. Someone I used to hang out with, Alex Windsor, who eventually opened a record shop in San Francisco. So I already knew Bushwhacker. He had come to Los Angeles for over a month and hung out and stayed with us. We went to Mexico and did a party with my friend did at that time. I already knew Mr. C, and both of them were best friends with one of the owners of the Underground. The Underground was one of the best spots up until last year that they closed it in Ibiza. And basically I got a job at the Underground and I stayed in Ibiza the whole summer. And then I came back 3 summers in a row, and I was able to actualize myself with all the electronic music, all the DJs. So many of the famous DJs now, I was able to become friends with them before they became famous DJs, like Jamie Jones at that level. We used to party at the same house every single day. A lot of the people, B. Burridge, many people. Basically, I was able to actualize myself with the music, with the contacts, and take all those back to Ecuador. And with the money I used to make in Ibiza, because I used to work my ass off. I only partied the first year. Then the second and third year, I was just working, saving. And then with that money, because that's our off season in Montanita, with that money, bringing DJs to Montanita, losing money, but creating a scene. By my last year, someone had occupied my club, so I had to go, and my property, they had came in and actually squatted it. So I had to go and do another spot further down the beach. But I knew that eventually I was going to get this spot for myself. And I did. And then 10, I bought that property, my original property. And then I bought 3 properties around it and named it the Lost Beach Club, and just kept growing it and growing it and growing it. And people were like, how did you come up with this design? I didn't come up with the design. I just kept making it better based on my needs. And that's why the Lost Beach Club is como so perfect, because we just kept making it better just so that everything would work out better. And we have
Yeah.
5 dance floors. We have 2 main ones that we usually use, the main floor, which is outdoors, and the cave. Why did I build the cave? Because I like to DJ myself, and we're right on the beach. So I had to put my sound system away after every party, but I wanted to go and just put a USB drive in, just DJ at any time. So I eventually built the cave so that I can go and have fun DJing, but it was such a success. I was like, maybe in the corner of it, we could do after parties. At first in Montanita, there was no hotels around us. There was just one, and we could stay open nonstop till 2 in the afternoon. But the whole town was built around this club, and eventually there was hotels everywhere, and we had to shut down at 4 a.m., which didn't work out for us, because the whole thing about Lost Beach is the party goes on forever. The
What
party goes
percentage of it now do you think, real quick, speaking of that, since it's grown so much, what percentage of it do you think is locals and tourists?
of my clients.
Yeah.
When I say locals, we are saying people from Ecuador, because Montanita is a town that when I first started living there was only 600 people that lived in the town. Now there's maybe 2,000 people, half locals, half foreigners, and we can fit 3,000 people in the club. So most of the people are Ecuadorians from different parts of Ecuador. At the beginning, it was like 3% foreigners. I mean, there was not even a what's it called? A cajero, ATM machine in the town. So the people used to show up with like $100, and once their money was over, they would just go on to the next place. So even from the beginning, it was like 95% of people were Ecuadorians. Now maybe 90%. It depends on the party. Sometimes we have a season where like midweek we have 80% foreigners, because they're the only ones that are in town. But everyone makes the pilgrimage to Montanita from the farthest corners of the country. And when I have like a really big party like Clooney or someone like that, the day before, like on the Friday, I will try to bring DJs from the farthest point in the country so they can bring people from that area and bring the vibe.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And then I know you mentioned Ibiza. I've been with you in Amsterdam, Miami, and I know you've been all over. What makes Lost Beach, Ecuador, Ecuadorians like different or special than all these places you've gone?
People in Latin America in general are one of the best crowds.
I
You
agree.
know, they are amazing. No one is sitting around like, oh my God, I've heard that song before. I can't believe he's playing it. Why did I pay for it? People just want to have fun. No one is too critical. Everyone is an amazing fan. They love you. They support you. They put like on everything. Not that that matters, but today it's kind of a form of support. They're just a really good crowd, and they follow you, and they love you, and they send you positive vibrations. So this is all
I
about
agree.
vibe. Now seen, I'm very lucky. Many people, they take classes on how to meditate, how to leave your body and travel on the astral plane and all that stuff. All that stuff has just happened to me without, like, it was meant to be. And I know that what we're doing is putting everyone in the same frequency and vibrating. And when we're all in the same frequency, we understand. And if we're all watch the same TV station and all listen to the same radio station and all get the same news, we could have complete peace because we are all understanding each other better. Now, when we're all connected and vibing in the same frequency, I believe we are sharing knowledge with each other and sharing secrets of the universe, and at the same time recharging our energy. And it's kind of like it's a ritual. It's kind of like a, I forget what you call it in English, but
Ritual is
people,
the word.
huh?
Ritual would be the word.
Seance. It's like a seance. It's like a
Oh,
seance.
okay.
Now, I love the Latin American crowd. They're amazing. I
Same.
love
I
the
mean, it
crowd.
makes up most of my crowd in Miami.
Yeah, they're a really good crowd and they're good people, and I love them. I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about any crowd, but this is the one I love.
Same. And I'm reminded of it every time I travel elsewhere when I'm partying in these other cities. And though I love the clubs in, some of these cities, I'm just reminded, even when the way people bump into you sometimes in these places, I'm just like, oh, I miss my crowd.
Yes. It's nice to bumping into them all over the world too.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the Spain crowd a lot too. The
Same.
Spanish people are really, really cool. There's a festival called Dias del Campo, which is an underground festival that they do near Valencia, Spain, which is sort of similar to the Trotamundo festival that we do. You've heard of the Trotamundo festival,
I'm
which is
familiar
mostly,
with it. Benji's a Miami guy. I know he does it
yeah,
with you.
yes. And the next Trotamundo coming up is from the 8th till the 13th of January. It'll be the third edition. And I just right now went to Ibiza and met the guys from the Dias del Campo. And these people were so nice and so cool and so appreciative of the fact that we're doing these festivals that don't just bring the biggest headliners, that also support the local talent from different parts of the world in the underground scene. And it was just really pleasant to be with these people. I met them through people who came to Trotamundo, different Spanish ravers, underground ravers. And yeah, I like the Spanish ravers a lot too. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree there. I like Valencia a lot. My wife's family lives there now.
Nice, nice.
Where do you see? Actually, I have another question. So I did a podcast recently with somebody else, and we were talking about South American talent and how much good talent comes out of there. And we were talking like, one, they don't get the same opportunities, and it's very hard to break out of South America. Tony, Harvey, obviously there's a few big names like Luciano, Ricardo have been able to break out. What do you think those challenges are? Why do you think they're not getting the same opportunities around the world?
To tell you the truth, I think that maybe it could be a little bit our own fault as promoters here in Latin America for just, well, I have started to change this, and a lot of Latin American promoters have started to change this, but we need to focus on our own artists. We can't just always be bringing somebody across the sea to be doing these big events. That's why I think the parties of Tony and Harvey and these other, like, we're doing the Overtones Festival, we're doing the Harvey Ball we're doing the Overtones parties and the Harvey Ball parties. These type of things help a lot. We need to all keep pushing our artists to be the headliners of our events in Latin America, and still invite the European guys over, but that will leverage the promoters and the agencies from Europe to be focused on our artists too. I mean,
I
it's
agree.
all about collaborating is everything. When the hip hop community started to collaborate with each other, it just exploded so huge. It's in electronic music. It's the same. We need to be collaborating more with Latin American artists, with artists in Europe, and supporting our own artists as much as we support the artists outside. The music right now, we're in a time where music with Latin vocals is huge. It's huge.
It's
People
huge.
love it. Yeah, it's
It's
huge.
dominating right now.
It's dominating, and you got people who don't even speak Spanish putting out tracks with Latin vocals because they're following the algorithm, like
Hmm.
Google, for example, which was completely
Yeah, French
created.
artists.
Yeah, French artist. and she's doing amazing. Look how much she's charging now. I think that we're at a really good time where the Latin American artists are going to be really popular in Europe and different parts of the world. Everything has come full circle. I already knew it was all going to come full circle. Even from back in the day, I was just like, it's so much more fun to party in Latin America. Our logo is bajo las estrellas frente al mar. Everybody wants to be under the stars and in front of the sea. Now, in many parts of Europe, it's illegal to party under the stars and in front of the sea because
It's true.
there's sound ordinances and stuff like that. But we do like to keep it a little bit of a secret that it's more fun to party in Latin America, so we could just control it so it doesn't just go too crazy all of a sudden. But we're having fun, and our parties in Montanita are amazing. They're really, really cool. Sometimes I feel like this is like the mecca of electronic music, Lost Beach Club.
I mean, all my years of booking, both on the promoter side and the management side, I've only heard positive feedback about it. It's been an honor to get in touch and talk on the side and hang out.
Thank you. I mean, you got to come down and check it out yourself. We would love
I
to
know
have you.
next time Charles is there, I'll probably shoot down, to be honest. He's been trying to like drag me for quite some time, but the dates never line up. It's hard for me to escape Miami, to be honest. I didn't even go to Ibiza this year because we've been so busy.
Really? That's cool. That's cool. Well, we got to definitely get Charles back. If he wants to come back, we would love to have that happen.
Always. You're one of his favorites.
I love him too. I love him too. That's
Uh,
all. It's all about creating relationships too with the artists. We don't believe like, oh, just bring the artist one time. No, we want to bring him and grow him, and with everyone. We want to make the whole country know them and have them be part of our Lost Beach family.
Same. Over the years, we've taken a lot of acts on like early in their career phase. I mean, in the Heart and even pre-Heart, we probably debuted most of the headliners that exist today. And we did that by sitting down with them early on and just being like, we're gonna bring you to Miami 3 to 4 times a year, and within 2 to 3 years, if you do everything on your side, you'll be moving tickets.
Yeah. I have
Uh,
made mistakes myself with like not taking on certain artists at their beginning of their career. Like, with many I have, but there's a few that I did not like give them the opportunity at the beginning because I
Same.
thought trying to be righteous because I thought that they didn't make their music and that they were too commercial. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, now he charges 300,000.
Same. I mean, we would take on a lot of artists and trust agents and managers, and I would say 90% of them don't work out. So after a lot of that, where you gamble and it doesn't pan out, or maybe you got fooled at a price. Then later on, when we were really rocking, there was a lot of opportunities. Like we had an opportunity really early with John Summit to almost play like for nothing, and I was just like, no, I'm just kind of tired of this developmental phase. And I think it was him. Who was the other one? I think Artbat, and there's a few others where we really missed out. And I, could have built that relationship, and then now they've exploded, and we don't even have any opportunity there. But that's just the name of the game.
We got John
John
Summit
Early.
twice. Yes. We got him
He was
early.
off.
The second time we got him, they're like, no, he's charging between 50 to 100.
Yeah.
Since he loved it so much the first time, he's like, oh, they're assholes. Don't worry. I'll make them accept any offer. And I'm not going to say the number, but he came super cheap. And the same weekend as Mochok, who also came super cheap because he had canceled when he was not as famous, but he wanted to make up. So we had both of them
That's awesome.
really cheap on
Yeah, I
the same
missed out on
weekend.
that one. It was like early pandemic. We had just reopened, and he was tight with a few friends and trying to get in on our parties. And at the time, we were like, everything's just opening. Let's focus on our main guys that have been like with us all these years. Like, bring them back. They all need work. And it was more of a decision of that.
Yeah, I love John Summit. That guy is so nice. John Summit was also working with Lee Foss early on in the game. And
BB was another one we missed out on. We were bringing Dennis Cruz really early. His manager Alberto were tight with. And back when we were bringing Dennis, who Technacia and Chus were like, put Dennis on, Alberto was like, what about bringing Michael Beebe? And pretty much unknown at the time. We didn't want
right,
to take we didn't want to roll the dice with it. And
we
that was,
did. I mean,
it's all good. It happens,
yeah, yeah,
I
but
wish
like
I had
we
a
missed
crystal
out
ball
on.
where
Sorry,
no, sorry about that. I wish I had a crystal ball where we could have always know who's going to be the next one. But
yeah, we
sometimes we
missed
roll the
out.
dice with the wrong one. Yeah.
Yeah, we missed out. We missed out on Fisher and on Hugel. Like I was like, Fisher, no, he doesn't make his own music. And Hugel, I was like, well, he copied the that sueño track of what's it called, of Dennis Cruz.
Dennis.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, maybe I should be faithful to my friend Dennis Cruz, because if I bring Ugal, who's like got famous, like doing almost the same sueño track as his, it might cause like. Then I realized no one gives a shit.
No one
Just go
cares.
with it. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Like all these people, like it doesn't matter if someone copied their track or talk shit. Like all the famous people are just helping each other now. You know,
Hmm.
I never expected Loco Dice and Fisher to be doing back to backs. You know,
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that once you've reached a certain level, you really don't care about the competition. It's
right?
only when you're like things aren't working out that you kind of just dislike everything about the industry. So it's like those looking up who have a problem with everything instead of realizing that no one cares and I'm just going to focus on myself and grow. What's some advice you would offer to anyone, even South American artists, just to get your attention early on?
To get my attention, to get booked, support us. That's what I always tell people. Support us, follow what we do, like what we do, share what we do. Contact me, contact my son. My son, Eziolino, is a producer. He's a DJ. He's the A&R of the record label. Send us music, lostbeachrecords@gmail.com, to see if we can release one of your tracks. Come visit the club. I mean, like, many like local DJs in Ecuador, almost all of them know the club. But if one of them doesn't know the club and like was like, I need to play there, I'm just like, bro, come and check out the place, see how it is, work
Yeah,
on
I'm
your
big on that.
like the main way to get into my like the fastest way is talk to one of the agents like yourself that I trust, because we have to take care of each other. Like you, the guys from B4, sometimes from Bullet, from Diego from Oasis. I have different agents that I need to help, and they help me. I make them look good, they make me look good. Being faithful to each other is really important. But if you just start writing me yourself to get booked, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come and play for free if you're any good. No, but if
Yeah. I tell people not to write me. I go like, I can't make a decision like that. If you're not like moving bodies, then at a bare minimum, your best chance is that you're like, I click with your vibe. So we're hanging out somewhere and I like the conversation and I just like, you know what, this guy, like we have good synergy. And if I'm going to put someone on to represent my brand, like I need to be able to have like a great convo with them and they need to play good, obviously.
right,
But if I have zero connection, like the DM and the email, it's just not going to get it done unless you're going to by me putting you on that flyer, you're going to make a difference to the event. But if you don't do that yet, come out, hang out, like you said, support us. I'm approachable. We were talking about that before this pod. Like, let's have a drink, let's have a convo, and that's more likely gonna to get you to the goal you want.
definitely, definitely. You feel it sometimes. You
You
just
feel
feel
it,
it.
So look,
I try not to guess. I tried to like feel it, like you said, and like, but yeah, basically, it's really hard to. Sometimes when people contact you direct and they say, "Come and play for free," well, free sometimes is bad. You know, most of the times you're shooting yourself in the foot.
I agree there. I don't really do it for you. If I like you, I'm gonna pay you, and it's more of that. It's like you're either gonna sell and change my revenue, or we click well together and enough so I went and took a step further to go look at your music. And then if at that point I like what you're doing, then it's like easy. I'll put you on an opening slot and it's up to you to earn the rebook or to get promoted to the next slot.
True.
So look, man, honestly, I really enjoyed the storytelling, man. I had fun just sitting back on this one and listening. Before we wrap it up, is there anything you like? Look, most of the people that have been tuning into my stuff lately are just like up and coming bedroom locals. Anything you would just want to like give out to them to help them go farther or to stay motivated to send this thing off?
I want to tell everyone, first of all, magic does exist. And the number one power we have is your intuition. Trust it. Trust your intuition. Trust yourself. Feel like the world is a loop and it's already happened before. And somewhere in el fondo, in the back of your brain, you know what's going to happen. And so just trust yourself. Never give up. Good vibes is the secret. The law of attraction is true. Whatever you know, whatever you have faith in, that's what's going to happen. So just know success, health, and happiness. We are here to make people happy. So be happy yourself. Okay.
I agree there.
Vibe.
I love that, man.
Yeah. You need to vibrate positively. That's what I
I
want
love
to
it.
tell.
Anything you want to promote or plug?
Buy your tickets for we have some We open at the Lost Beach Club every Friday, Saturday, and Monday. At any time of the year, you can come down and we're having a good party. Obviously, the holidays are much bigger. We have a really cool festival called Trotamundo, which is an underground festival. You can find us at trotamundo.life on Instagram or the web. It's going to be really cool. You can buy tickets from any of our events on passline.com. If you're in Miami and you want to come down, I recommend you come down for the 1st, 22nd, 23rd of November. We got Seth Troxler and Laidlaw coming through. That'll be a nonstop party from Friday till probably Tuesday morning, dancing without stop. So I recommend you check us out. I'm at Lost Beach Club on Instagram, or Lost Beach Cami is my personal account. All of our events are there. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching this podcast.
I appreciate you, brother. We're going to do a part 2 of this. I feel like there's a lot more to talk about.
There's a lot more to talk about because I've actually like been at events and like jumped dimensions before and seen something else. I've seen that actually this is like, I've seen the mission in process. I've seen like inside of every single person, like a battery, like of a cell phone, and then it's like not charged as much. And then like at one point in the party when everyone is connected, boom, everything like shuts to complete darkness and then opens back up and everyone's battery gets refilled and it makes the sound. I've seen different things before. I've had a lot of different experiences, and I call that the futuristic dimension. And I've seen the organic dimension where instead of having like a battery meter of like of a cell phone, where everybody has like a red blob coming out of their bodies, and that red blob is bigger or smaller depending on how much good vibes they're vibrating. And as we get close to each other, these blobs interconnect, and it's like we start like energizing, like, and it's better than any orgasm or any drug. Vibrating is everything. And I've also walked the astral plane without even trying. I've left my body, flew out into the astral plane and transmuted the sexual energy. Transmuting the sexual energy, what I did, well, many different religions talk about this. You take the good energy and you bring it down to your lowest chakra point, and then you vibrate it out. And you vibrate it out. And that's what Michael Jackson, James Brown, Cheyenne, Prince, all of them do when they say, ow, they're not singing, they're doing magic. They're taking the energy all the way down to their lowest chakra point, and then they're channeling it through vibrations into love. And I was lucky enough for when I remember it really well. Take note, I decalcified my third eye, my pineal gland, by my diet, by the water I drink and by the toothpaste I used for 3 years in a row. And that makes you remember your dreams and remember your past lives. And when I was on the astral plane, I went and saw a female that I've known for the past billion years, because when you're in these different dimensions or on the astral plane, you remember your life there. And I saw her in the distance, and I thought of us hugging and like making love to each other, and that immediately that energy shot down to my lowest chakra point and started shooting out like balls of fire at her, and her at balls of energy at me. And every time it hit me, hers, I could see exactly what she's thinking in her head, and every time it hit her, she could see what I'm thinking in my head. And like we all do this all the time, but people don't remember. You don't remember. You remember it right there in that moment, but since your pineal gland is calcified because of stuff like chlorine and fluoride, you don't remember. So I mean, I have many things I could talk about.
You gave
Experience.
me so much today, man.
Yeah.
I
So
really appreciate it.
thank you. Hope you
Thank you,
don't think.
brother. We'll do this again. And we'll talk on the side as well.
Okay, Travis. Thank you so much. Take care.
Later, brother.
Bye bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.